As per normal, we are back and I'm here doing the things dot dot dot. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Um, again, please feel free to engage, comment, share, tell a friend. No need to like, no need to subscribe. If you do, thank you. Again, no need to do so. Let's get into it. So, for the first fan theory, it is that Hallmark movies are told by unreliable narrators. It's actually a very funny one. Looking it up, it actually threw me for a loop. Not gonna lie to you. When I first saw it, and obviously reading through it, some of the examples that people would give, it kind of it's a fun spin-off because usually, like I mentioned last with the previous video, you kind of get into this repetition where the the narrator either, or sorry, the main character either has passed away or is in some type of coma. So most of the story is actually just like basically imagined, or some type of purgatory existence, or it's like where again the main character is either crazy or it's a side character that is kind of inserting themselves into the story. So with this one, it's actually very nice. I really appreciate this. Also, for a different fan theory, it's the one where every MI6 agent is actually written, or sorry, not written. They are mind mind controlled into believing that they are all James Bond. Where this the theory postulates, it actually pulls a lot from kind of, it's not specifically Men in Black, but it's the idea that they train everyone to become James Bond, and then they mind wipe everyone so that the only existence that they know is being James Bond. And if you look at how the world treats James Bond, it kind of does support that theory because each James Bond, if you look at Archer, the series, they kind of play on this whole idea that you cannot be the most famous spy in the world. That is a contradiction. It's a big contradiction. So the theory is actually very valid in that sense. Next, onto the unproduced pilots. Uh, First on the chopping block, Call to Danger, 1973. This one I like because it's a private civilian that helps the Justice Department rescue a turncoat. The turn the turncoat for me is so strong. I'm so used to just saying traitor, snitch. You know what I mean? So turncoat is, it's such a formal term, but yes, this private civilian helps rescue a turncoat with valuable information. Now, granted, the premise isn't unique because we usually have like your Rambos and your, you know, the like that will go about and just do whatever, and especially if it helps the American government, why not? Today, if this had to be produced in a full season or series, end of season one, generally this private civilian would be seen as like as an outsider. So hopefully back in 73 they wouldn't have done it like that. But you can take a look at the series yourself. Next, Acting Sheriff. This one was released back in 1991. The premise is kind of not goofy specifically, it's just very cute. A B-list actor pretends to be the sheriff in a small northern California town, I believe, and his deputy covers up for him. Technically speaking, the deputy, I can see already what they were trying to do with the first season would have been that the deputy is actually the one that does everything, but then the acting sheriff that gets all the credit. That would have been fun for a season, maybe even two, especially looking at like the 90s. And then the last, This one is a fun one. Back to Back Space. This one is actually a cartoon series that Cartoon Network wanted to release back in 2014. Um, with it, the premise is very cute, very. I wish I had seen this. It's basically virtual beings dealing with deleted creations. So there were three different types of creations. You had your good, bad, your like minor good, and then your evil bad. So it's three different versions or categories that they would put deleted items into. The first, I probably butchered the first, the labels, but the first would be ones that you can immediately send back. It's actually perfect. The creator probably just didn't like them. The second would need to be kind of rehabilitated, worked on and then sent back. And then the third is definitely not to be released. That one needs to go straight to hell. The episode is actually funny because a version that needed to be rehabilitated is basically let loose on the world as is. I'm making it sound worse than it is, but it is cute. Check it out for yourself. Okay, so for this one, I actually want to vent. It's actually funny. Um, there's so many things on all of our, algorithms that kind of get us locked in on different things, and sometimes it's so drastic. You just have to talk about it. For once, I'm actually going to talk about it. I think we all have our different spots where there's like stuff you could doom scroll on and you just get locked in for no reason. So, one of the newer things, this isn't all my algorithm is made up of, but definitely I have to say, it's earwax removal. It's my new thing. It's not cute, it's not sexy, it's dog, it is disgusting. I get that. But I think the reason why I think about it, or at least why I'm okay with it being on my algorithm, is because I've been thinking recently that if I went and got mine, a few of my colleagues have gotten it at work. So I'm like, yo, what if I got it? Because I know I've never had my ears cleaned like that. So there's this 27 years worth of like earwax in there. I can't trust whatever's gonna come out of it. Whatever's gonna come out of it is I'll basically be giving birth to a demon, and I don't think I'm ready for that. You know what I mean? Like none of you guys are gonna hold my hand for that. That's gonna be my responsibility. But yeah, I watch these videos and I see it, and ugh, I'm scrunching my face the entire time, but I can't look away. Seriously, it's truly disgusting. I'll add a video just for reference. Uh, the next one is a little bit somber. Um, so for a while, um, I think everyone has seen videos like this. I don't think it's like specific to my algorithm, but pedophile hunters. We see these people and you think, wow, that couldn't be me because I wouldn't be able to be so calm, or I wouldn't want the justice system involved, or you know what I mean. We all have our extremes, but um, in essence, they are doing what they're doing. So for a lot of it, it's thank you. You're doing a service for the community. We feel like we can trust you and stuff like that. But we also have to give credence to the fact that these are still people. You know what I mean? Sometimes we don't know what's going on in their personal homes. We don't know what has happened in their past. We don't know what's currently happening with them. So I actually do say this next part very somberly. It's the fact that there was a pedophile hunter that has been charged with molesting his own child, his own daughter. Um, dude's been helping out the community for years, looking out for pedophiles. So it truly is sad to see that, like, it's sad in the sense that this is, we know his story, and there's a lot of times that in the past where he would either get pedophiles arrested or he would stop a pedophile, and we would think, oh no, the story doesn't matter. Right now, I'm not saying I want to justify him. I just like to know what went wrong. You know what I mean? Like right now, everywhere where I'm looking, they're just giving like the charges and the accounts, but they're not. He hasn't said his own story. He hasn't said, and I think that just comes down to us one, or me specifically, wanting an explanation, because it would be the same as if somebody you personally know suddenly comes out, or not comes out, they never come out, but somebody you know tomorrow morning gets charged with being a pedophile. You're like, what, Jeff, is this you? Is is this you? I expected so much better from you. What happened? You know what I mean? Like that's immediately the question. Like where did you go wrong? So it's not intentional, but yeah, I'm very sorry about that. I would like to know like what's the story. And again, if you've never seen pedophile hunters or anything like that, oh sorry, if you've never seen some of the pedophile, like, how can I say, accusations, or like these where they corner the pedophiles, to a large extent for you it's kind of fresh. So for you, you may think about it in the sense that, I don't know, like, just no, it's there's no explanation needed, and we just lock this creep up. Sure, 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 sure. But you do realize that the whole point of the justice system getting involved is they want an explanation. Like, yeah, granted, it's sometimes that's where they will just say, "Oh, I'm crazy. You don't have to lock me up in prison. I need to go to an asylum." And yes, we hate those stories, but if that is the truth, like, simple example, the what's his freak's name, the Joker, all right? Dude isn't easily a pedophile, but if he was, you just think, oh yeah, easy, he's a pedophile, done. But if you had to hear like Victor Freeze is a pedophile, you're like, that nigga's not crazy. What? And then he pulls the insanity plea. You're like, but at least explain to me what happened. You know what I mean? And yes, that was both fictional characters, but that's the point. You know what I mean? That's because I don't have people in the real life I can use as an example. And I also wouldn't want to use. Hey, how about this? If you can find or know real people, please drop them in the comment section. Just that I would love. Anyway, last name, while I'm rambling, sorry, not last name, last, not fun fact. This is one of the things I found, and it's actually very funny. Very, very, very funny. Not to kind of, switch from the seriousness we just were had, but anyway, so I'm scrolling on Instagram, and obviously, when doom scrolling happens, you think everything is a joke, or at least there's no way that I need to go beyond this. And I see a reel where they say that I need to Google 50 most popular women, and I'm thinking it's a joke. But then again, it wasn't a link provided or anything like that. So I'm thinking, okay, it's really within my hands. I have all the power. There's no way that this could go sideways. I look it up. It's ABC's 50 most popular women. Now I'm thinking, and the reel did say, look at number 7. So I'm thinking, okay, it can't go that far sideways. It's clearly a joke because they had Tom Cruise laughing. So I was like, okay, it's not. It it has to be funny. Guys, number 7 is Justin Bieber. That is absolutely crazy to me. ABC. ABC, the network, by the way. This isn't some random podcast. This isn't some comedy network show. This is an actual serious network. This is like a big boy channel. Okay, they said that Justin Bieber is the seventh most popular woman in the world. I'm thinking, wow, I wish I could be honored that way. You know what I mean? Like, come on, guys. We know. Let's face it. Men put down the swords. Let's be honest. Are you gonna make top 50? Do you know what type of man you have to be top 50? If you had to Google right now, matter of fact, let's both do it. You know what I mean? Let's both type in Google quickly there. Okay, cool. Yeah. Type it in. Okay, cool. 50 most. Okay. Now go in that link. I don't know. I don't know which one you got. For me, it's okay. Scroll down quickly. Yeah, seven. Okay. Matter of fact, go all the way down. Number 50. Guess what? You ain't on the fucking list, man. That's crazy to me. Okay, we're not gonna get that recognition. And also, it's actually funny. If you look on ABC's list, most of it is basically all of the same. It's female artists, it's musicians, and I was like, okay, it's there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, like, this is most popular woman. I don't, you know, like I take nothing away from artists, musicians that are literally in the brand and business of getting known. But how is Oprah not higher on this list? You get me? Because she's not a singer, but at the same time she's famous. You know what I mean? Anyway, so yeah, that's trending media, funny times. Time to get a little random. So, uh, would you rather live in a zombie apocalypse or World War III? For context or caveat, yeah, I do have that dude on my TikTok. The would you rather and then caveat. I like his style. This one I came up with myself though. Um, didn't see it anywhere. I'm sure it's somewhere. There's a variation of it, but basically, you're either living in a zombie apocalypse where most people have been wiped out by this thing that kind of infects you. So you could think of it in any different way, either a normal zombie apocalypse, COVID, um, like what's this other one I was thinking of? Croatoan virus. You know what I mean? Like all of these different things that would infect you as a person and turn you. You know what I mean? Or you could live in World War III, where essentially, we are still, excuse me, normal people. The only difference is the arms race is a little difficult. You know what I mean? Before, like, if you think about it, the zombie apocalypse, our political relationships are still intact. Yeah, maybe we'll blame China again or whatever that is, but for the most part, as like as people that are still alive, we still have that camaraderie between nations. World War III, that shit's gone. You only care about your block, you only care about your people. There is no such thing as like traveling the world in essence. That idea is gone. So which one would you live in? Me personally, just because of the introvert I am, definitely zombie apocalypse. I would much rather be okay with people, but we are not going to be close with one another. You know what I mean? The other one, have you ever given advice to a teenager and instantly regretted it? For those that are parents, you guys can definitely comment, but keep in mind you didn't like the advice you got from your parent, because you know what I mean. It's your parent giving advice. So with this one, I want everyone to kind of, with a grain of salt, rather refer to times you spoke to a teenager that was not your child. This will give it a little more weight. And I'm also not talking about step parents. I'm talking about take the whole guardianship out. I'm not talking. This is not your kid. In no way, shape, or form. I mean, this is a random child. This is an underage adult that you try and give advice to, and then it gets thrown back in your face, or in some way it happens. So please let me know. So for this section, I did ask previously if you guys would be interested in me reading out of the um, out of the books, and nobody said anything. I am okay with that. Thank you very much that nobody said anything. So for this week's episode, like I mentioned, I'll just be reading a few chapters out of The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Nothing too deep, just the first three chapters, and even then, it's only going to be snippets of, nothing too lengthy. So, yeah, let's get into it. Chapter 1 snippet. He skims over the contents, any emotional impact desired by the author failing miserably, and finally, he pauses at the only fact that he deems relevant, that this girl now left in his custody is obviously his own daughter, and that her name is Celia. She should have named you Miranda, the man called Prospero, the enchanter, says to the girl with a chuckle. I suppose she was not clever enough to think of it. The girl looks up at him, dark eyes narrow beneath her curls. The teacup on the desk begins to shake. Ripples disrupt the calm surface as cracks tremble across the glaze, and then it collapses into shards of flowered porcelain. Cold tea pools in the saucer and drips over onto the floor, leaving sticky trails along the polished wood. The magician's smile vanishes. He glances back at the desk with a frown, and the spilled tea begins seeping back up from the floor. The cracked and broken pieces stand and reform themselves around the liquid until the cup sits complete once more, soft swirls of steam rising on into the air. Yeah, that's chapter 1. Now for chapter 2. The door swings open of its own accord, revealing a cluttered dressing room lined with mirrors, each reflecting a different view of Prospero. His tailcoat has been tossed lazily over a velvet armchair, and his waistcoat hangs unbuttoned over his lace-edged shirt. The top hat, which featured prominently in his performance, sits on a handstand nearby. The man appeared younger on stage, his age buried under the glare of the footlights and layers of makeup. The face in the mirrors is lined, the hair significantly graying, but there is something youthful in his grin that appears as he catches sight of the man standing in the doorway. You hated it, didn't you? He asked without turning away from the mirror, addressing the ghostly grey reflection. He wipes a thick residue of powder from his face with a handkerchief that might once have been white. It is a pleasure to see you too, Hector, the man in the grey suit says, closing the door quietly behind him. You despised every minute, I can tell, Hector Bowen says with a laugh. I was watching you. Don't try to deny it. He says, he turns and extends a hand, and the grey He turns and extends a hand the man in the grey suit does not accept. In response, Hector shrugs and waves his fingers dramatically in the direction of the opposite wall. The velvet armchair slides forward from the corner, packed with trunks and scarves, while the tailcoat floats up from it like a shadow, obediently hanging itself in a wardrobe. Sit, please, says Hector. It's not as comfortable as the ones upstairs, I'm afraid. That's chapter 2. Now for chapter 3. The boy does not fidget as much as the first boy did. He sits quietly and patiently, his grey green eyes taking in every detail of the room, and the man subtly aware, but not outright staring. His dark hair is badly cut, as though the barber was distracted during the process, but some attempt has been made to flatten it. His clothes are ragged, but well kept, though his pants are too short and may once have been blue or brown or green, but have faded too much to be certain. How long have you been here? The man asks, after silently examining the boy's shabby appearance for a few moments. "Oh, always," the boy says. "How old are you?" "I'll be 9 in May." "You look younger than that." "It's not a lie." "I did not mean to suggest that it was." The man in the grey suit stares at the boy without comment for some time. The boy stares back. You can read, I assume?" I missed that one up. My bad, my bad, my bad. "You can read, I presume?" the man asks. The boy nods. "I like to read," he says. "There aren't there aren't enough books here. I've read all of them already." "Good." Without warning, the man in the grey suit tosses his cane to the boy. The boy catches it in one hand, easily without flinching, though his eyes narrow in confusion as he looks from the cane to the man and back. The man nods to himself and reclaims his cane, pulling the pale handkerchief from his pocket to wipe the boy's fingerprints from the surface. "Very well," says the man. "You will be coming to study with me. I assure you I have a great many books. I will make the necessary arrangements, and then we shall be on our way." "Do I have a choice?" "Do you wish to remain here?" The boy considers this for a moment. "No," he says. Yeah, and that is the Night Circus, first three chapters. Um, as I mentioned before, please feel free to comment about the reading. I definitely butchered a few lines. Please feel free to riff me on that. Well, thank you very much for all attendees. It's been really fun. This episode, I didn't mean to be this long, but thank you very much for staying until the end. This is obviously if you stayed, because I mean, if you didn't, you're just not hearing this part. But again, thank you very much. I'll see you guys again. Bye.